Early on, in the days after the earthquake hit, the biggest need was food. So the decision was made, we got to get food out and we got to get it out quickly. And how it worked was ready-to-eat food was bought and packed in the Dominican Republic and then trucked over to the CRS warehouse. Requests would come in for goods. Trucks would be loaded again, and they would go to certain areas.
How are we doing? I'm Donald. I didn't get your name.
Donald Riley is a member of the emergency response team based out of Kenya, and he's done a lot of similar kind of large-scale emergencies before, so he knows how they work. So one of the first places we started working was a place called the Pétionville Club, which at one point was a very nice 9-hole golf course. Haitians who were afraid to stay near buildings that were damaged or they didn't have any place to go started moving into the golf course. So we decided to do a food distribution there.
Food and water just arrived at the Pétionville Club camp. I think we officially call it a camp now. And we're the American Army are offloading the trucks for us, and we're going to start distribution shortly.
And what do we have? What came in?
Ready-to-eat food kits and water. And we have hygiene kits coming as well on other trucks. We have about 7 trucks arriving here today.
Any estimations on how many people are at this camp? When you look out over here, how many people, what are you seeing?
From my experience working in camps, I would say we're in the region of somewhere between maybe 30 to 50,000 people.
What we know from past emergencies is that you can't just show up at a place and say, okay, make a line, everybody come get food, and then order, leave in a nice manner. It doesn't work like that.
So they haven't distributed the cards yet, have they?
No, they're about to do it. It'll take an hour or so, but it's actually a nice way because we're sure we're going to get each family.
To try to go to each individual shelter is very difficult because it's just a mess. There's no organization. So Donald went down there with a team. They had a big piece of cord. They would demarcate a zone of, say, 20 shelters, and then they would go through the shelters, hand out tickets, make an X on the shelter so we know that we've given a ticket to that shelter, and he would do this throughout this entire camp. He was trying to make sure that all of the shelters were served. So the other great thing about Donald is he speaks Creole. He could talk to Haitians in their own language. So he was the perfect person to go down into the camp and do this. The CRS managed to use the geography of the golf course that was on a hill. People would come up the hill to receive the food and then file out in a different way. So there was a lot of knowledge on crowd control, on how people respond, on the use of Haitian volunteers, on the use of the U.S. military that helped us do really great orderly distributions early on when a lot of other people were struggling with how to get food out to people in an orderly manner.